Hello, everyone, and welcome to A New Direction. My name is Jay Izzo, and oh, man, do you like to dance? Yes, you do. Do you like business? Yes, you do. Can you do the tango? You're probably saying to me, no, Jay, I can't do the tango. Well, you know what? Let me just tell you something. I have got with me somebody who can do the tango. And I mean, she can do it professionally. And she's also the author. And she's also owner and CEO of her own company. Her name is Katia Rave. And the book is called Success is a Dance. And it's how the rules of tango will make your business work. Now, let me just tell you something. Now, you stay with me, everybody, because I'm going to tell you something right now. This book is absolutely fun, and it is so full packed with practical knowledge for every level of person who thinks that they want to own their own business or be an entrepreneur. Right? Because the one thing that Katia talked to me about before we got on the show, and it's really true because I've known her on being on a couple of other things together, but here's the truth. She loves the tango, right? And she also loves entrepreneurship and business. So when you put those two passions together, and she put those together in this book beautifully, seamlessly, awesomely, you're going to get something really, really special. So we're going to talk to her in just a few minutes. But before we do that, let's do what we do every week, right? Truth is, we got to walk through our 4 areas of our life: physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, right? We are 4-part people. We are physical people, we are mental people, we're emotional people, and we're spiritual people. And, we've interviewed a lot of people from the military, especially special operations forces people, general, even here. And they all say the same thing. If you're not working on these 4 areas every single day, you're not growing. And so we need to have constant growth. So what we do on the show is, on a scale of 1 to 10, we rank ourselves, in each of these areas. And so here's how we do it. First one's physical. So scale of 1 to 10, 1 being miserable, 10 being outstanding. How would you say your training has been in the last 7 days when it comes to exercise, eating right, drinking enough water, and getting enough sleep? Now, 5 is an average. Now, whatever that number is for you, that's okay, because that's your starting point. Okay. And so then you go, okay, what do I need to work on? And then what you do is you say to yourself, okay, what can I work on right now that I can move myself from whatever number I am just a little bit? Maybe maybe you're a 4 and you can get it to a 4.25 just by taking a walk, right? Or you know what, picking up a bottle of water and putting down the soda, right? Just the little things can start moving the needle on you. All right. So that's the first one, physical. Next is mental, right? Sometimes we call it intellectual, right? But the truth of the matter is, what are you doing to increasing your knowledge of what you do and understand the world around you, right? And you have to understand, right? As a professional, right, and doing this, what I do, whether it be as a podcaster, radio host, TV show host, or as a coach, whatever I do, I have constantly got to be working on getting better. Because what I understand is the more that I know, the more I don't know, is the truth. And so I have to constantly be working on, understanding how I can do my job better, how I can be better for other people, how can I serve better, right? I need to be working both halves of my brain. I need to be working the left side of my brain, working on those logical things to help me be better. But then I got to be working on the right side of my brain, working on those creative things to help me come up with better ideas and more things, right? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank yourself in your intellectual or mental area, right? Right? That's your second number. Third number is the emotional number. And, we talk about emotions. I break it down really simply for you, right? Here's how we break down the emotions for you. The first half is, how would you say you're doing controlling your emotions under stress and pressure? And then the second half of the question is, how well do you think you really do tap into and understand the emotions of other people? See, that's a real serious question, because, a lot of times we just think that, we let our emotions go, right? But we don't think that we have control over them. In fact, the matter is, we do have control over them. And we can control them if we are willing to do those things that are necessary to control them, which means that we got to take some self-control. And then the second half is, what we've got to do is we've got to find a way to understand and tap into people. And that may be that you need to increase your emotional vocabulary, right? All right, so that's 3 numbers. Fourth number is the spiritual, right? And listen, you know what? We're all spiritual people. You woke up today and you believed that you were about to do something today. You were going to go to work, you had breakfast, and you didn't get poisoned. We take for granted faith, but we all live by faith. You have to, because we don't live by sight, right? Because what we see fools us often. It's called illusion, right? And we all have faith in something. Matter of fact, I can tell you that when things go bad in your life, the first thing that you run to, that's your God. Because you believe that that's going to solve the problem. And for some people, it is God. For some people, they think it's nature. For some people, they run to alcohol. For some people, they run to something else to try to get themselves distracted from the feeling. Here's the question. What is it? How's it working for you? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? Right? So you have 4 numbers. Those 4 numbers are like the air in your tires of your car. If one of your tires, if the tires are uneven on your car, how do you think your car drives? It doesn't drive very well, does it? And if one of your tires is completely flat or almost flat, well, you're going to ruin the rims. Right? The whole point of making sure that your tires are properly inflated so that the car runs right? So you run right and it runs smoothly and evenly. And that's what we want to do. And speaking of somebody who has her tires inflated correctly, her name is Katia Rave. She is the daughter of a professional Argentine tango instructor and a professional dancer. Originally from France, she's the owner of Rave Strategy Studios, a business coaching company that helps businesses grow to financial success while living the life they love. As a result of her extensive business and sales success, Katia is also a leadership performance coach who has learned and worked with the top performing teams, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and students from all walks of life. She is an international speaker and author of this book that I'm holding up right here called Success is a Dance, and we have her for the first time on the show. So welcome for the first time ever, Katia, to A New Direction.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for having me. Oh my gosh, what a pleasure to be here.
Well, I feel the same way about you being here, and I am excited about this book and excited to share it with people all over the world. By the way, we are now in 95 countries around the world. So I just want to say thank you to all those countries that have or download the show on a regular basis. Thank you so much. And even to the people in the Ukraine. I cannot believe that you are listening to the show, but I see that you are, and thank you. That just means so much to me with what's going on there. Chapter 1. Is called Networking the Milonga. Did I pronounce that right? The Milonga?
Yes, the Milangas. Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
So you talk about, and here's the beauty of how these chapters are outlined, is that you give us the pain, you give us the problem, and then you give us the solution. So I'm going to share this with the audience.
Sure.
The pain is you don't have enough leads, no clients. The problem is you're busy and stuck behind a computer creating content, but not doing money-making, generating activities. So let's talk about what the Milonga is, and then let's talk about how that relates back to networking. So what is the Milonga in Tango?
So the Milanga is the event where you go and dance socially. So it's not a place where you're going to learn. It's not for classes. It's not for teaching. It's not for learning. It's really purely for going and dancing and totally social. And there's so much who for me relates to networking, right? So I went and the way it happened, it's every time I went to a milonga, I was sitting and I was having these moments, right, where I was like, oh my gosh, it's exactly how we are in networking events and all of that. So when you arrive at a milonga, you're there, you sit, and you see different kind of people. You have the people who just sit and who won't talk. They're just there for like, I'm there to dance. In networking, they're there, they're like, I just want to collect business card. Let me collect. I'm here to collect. I'm here to get business card. And then there's the other people where you just like, hey Jay, how are you doing? How's your day today? Right. Like those simple thing of acknowledging, then I'm not here just to use you as a dancer on the dance floor. I'm not here to use you just because I want a client and I get to network with you because I want you to hire me. Like, how about we bring some genuine human sentiment into it? And the Milonga is so that. You go in there, you pour your art, You're there. Whatever happens, happens. You're into the being instead of in the doing.
Mm.
Whether you get asked to dance or not, it shouldn't change your smile. It shouldn't change how different you're going to be with people. Like your goal is to be there socially, to create an environment. I believe we are source of everything around us. So when we create this environment by being kind, being loving, talking to people, then of course things happen into a chronological way.
Mm.
If I end up talking with you somewhere, this is how I am here. I talked with you into a networking event.
Right. Yes. Right. Right. Yeah.
I didn't have to, right? I was just there on camera. I just chose to because I want to get to know the people then I'm with. And that's what happened at the Milanga. And before you know it, you're on the dance floor and that dancer introduced you to another dancer. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know her and she's great. And this is how we can grow, and versus just going and saying, okay, my goal is 10 business card, I'm going to get 10 business cards, and then what do you do with the business card? You haven't connected. Maybe the person then who's around you then you're talking with is not interested with their services, but maybe it's their sister, maybe it's their best friend, maybe. So I see that. I saw that so much. I see then, like in networking event, there's such an agenda in the same way that there's an agenda in Milanga, which is getting on the floor and dancing.
Right. And this is the problem. I've been to networking events, and sometimes I get frustrated with them as well, because I know that for me, like if I go to a networking event, right, I'm interested in who you are, right? I really am genuinely interested in who you are, and actually much less in what you do than who you are as a person.
Yeah.
And because I feel like if I know you as a person and we get to know each other as a person, because you talk about this throughout the book, the likability factor is huge. You could be great professionally, but you've got to be likable.
That's right.
And that means that we have to create a relationship with each other. And you bring that out in this book, and you have some networking tips. And one of the things you say is make your pitch perfect.
Yes.
And I understand, we should have a really perfect pitch, right? When we say, but before we can ever get to the pitch, we have to be really intentional, which is the first thing you say, about getting to know the people that we're talking to.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, knowing your avatar, who's your ideal client. We go back through that, and this is such a step that I feel who's just overseen. And when we talk about pitch, make your pitch perfect, having your pitch, it's not, hi, my name is Katia Rave, and I am a business coach, and because I know I have 30 seconds. Every time people ask me what I do, it comes out in a different way.
Yes.
Why? Because I'm in front of a real person, and I am a real human, and I don't want to have it by memory,
right,
because it makes me like a robot. I don't want to appeal to people who want a robot, because in my coaching, I am not a robot.
Right.
I get to be so me. You and I were talking about this before we got on, on camera. We get to be so authentic, then people know exactly. That's where you attract the right people.
Right. Let me just say that the way you've constructed this book is really kind of fun, really fun, and it's very, very cool, right? So you heard me talk about how she talked about the pain, the problem, and the solution, and then at the end of every chapter, she has what she calls fun tips, and I want you to just hear how practical her tips are, because they're just so good. So places where you can spark a conversation, because this is what it's about, right? It's sparking conversation. A grocery store, a PTA meeting, a gym, a social media, a dog park. I love the simplicity of it, because we make networking way too complicated sometimes.
Oh, we do.
Right? We think we have to go to these huge events, but that's not necessarily what you're saying here.
No, not at all. And not only that, is what would it look like for you to live and breathe who you are at the core, even when you are at the grocery store? Are you a different person when you're in front of the camera and when you're not in front of the camera, right?
Right,
I
right,
mean, at the grocery store, I see people, then I'm like, I would never do business with.
right. Yeah. No, I'm pretty excitable.
Yeah. So am I. So am I. I talk to everybody. Hi, like
I am too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's no, I've never met a stranger. My wife says to me, we'll be in an elevator in a hotel somewhere, and I'm talking to the people in the elevator. She goes, "You talk to everybody." I go, "I know. It's I just have never met a stranger." And I
It's I love that you say that because it's connection.
right.
Tango is all about connection.
Mm,
And that's what, when we connect with people, we try so hard on social media to put all these amazing photos and amazing things, but if you don't connect,
right.
what was that,
Right, well, and here's the other thing about this, and I had it, and you gave me a thought when I was reading this chapter. When we're starting out a company, right? We have more and are more apt to do all the networking things. I think we're willing to.
yeah,
But
yeah,
what the problem is? You're in the company and you've built up all these people over the course of time. But the truth of the matter is, you still need to be networking.
yes,
I don't care how many years you've been, right? It doesn't matter how many years you've been in business. You still need to network because you know why? Your clients are getting older and there's younger clients coming in. You got to meet new people.
yeah. Don't take it for granted, and just because you have a team, don't
Mm,
think. I just went to a networking event last week before my trip. I just came back from New Orleans very late last night, and I went to a networking event.
yeah, that's
Why?
beautiful.
Because meeting new people, different opportunities, different space, different, just because you're there and you're making maybe a lot of money and you're great, what would it look like for you to still be so grounded with what the people need?
Right. Right. Because needs change, right? Our needs and wants change so much.
Survey, 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 survey
Mm,
all the time. How
mm,
can you survey behind your computer? I mean, yeah, a little bit on a chat in Zoom, but go and see real people and you'll see some of the struggles out there.
so good. So good. All right. Let's move to chapter 2. All right.
Yes.
Walking
Oh,
fundamentals. Okay. Because, you know, you said walking, and I'm like going, walking. Right. Okay. So here's the pain. The pain is not knowing where to start. The problem is being attracted to all the shiny, she says, shiny diamonds floating around, shiny objects, I like to say, and overly concerned about what other people do. And you're wanting to learn everything you're not ready for. And then your solution is pick one thing to do well, master it, and move on to the next. Okay. So talk to us about walking
yes.
and go and how the fundamentals play a role.
So walking is this fundamental, right? You have two people for basically a total of four legs, right?
Right.
One person going backward, one person going forwards,
Right.
and they get to not walk on each other.
Mm,
Argentine tango, it's all improvisation. There's no step. You don't learn any step.
mm,
Really, really, really important. All improvisation. And you still get to have the fundamental of walking.
mm,
Learning how to walk with someone is fascinating.
mm,
You get to know, so I do a lot of work into leadership and all of that. It is fascinating to see what comes up, what character, what trait of character you can see from someone walking with someone else.
mm,
Are they taking over? Is it
mm.
not going fast enough? And then walking, you're like, okay, I want to dance. I don't want to walk.
Mm.
And I want to do all these fancy things that I have seen on Dancing with the Star. And we're like, Argentine tango is not Dancing with the Star. Dancing with the Star is, ballroom tango, very different. Here you are here to really understand the feeling. And they're like, yeah, but you see this girl, she's putting her leg up, and yes, and you get to learn the fundamental.
Mm,
And this is so much the same into entrepreneurship. We get to start at the beginning. We get to start with networking. We get to start with one-on-one, like understanding like the people. And social media is great, but you get to really understand what stage of business you are in and what works and what doesn't work.
Mm.
The fundamental of walking in business is being grounded. Do you know where you get to go? It's great to have a vision, but if you don't know what step, earlier in your introduction, I wrote it down, but in your introduction you were talking about when you said the mental intellect,
Mm-hmm.
you said, what would it take for you to move 0.25 of a number?
Right.
And for me, the fundamental in a business, it's really seeing where am I at,
Mm.
what's my vision, where do I want to be, and what's in the gap. And
Yeah.
if I don't know, as an entrepreneur, I get to say, I don't know. The best tango dancers are the one who are always like, can you come and check and see what am I doing wrong? Those are the best dancers.
Mm.
Why? Because they have the humility and the vulnerability to say, I don't know. And in entrepreneurship, just because we're so good at our trade doesn't mean we're amazing at business. And sometimes we don't know what's the next step. And what's great for you or me, for example, is maybe not great for someone else because we're not at the same level into the business. So there's no wrong. The shiny diamonds are amazing for everybody. It's just at what stage of your business do you get to put this? You get to really have firm foundations. And
Yeah.
that's walking. The masters at tango. So we always say there's different dancers, right? At the beginning, nobody wants to walk. They all want to do all the other stuff, right? Because it's more fun. And then you become a pretty good dancer, and you're like, oh, okay, let me refine my walking. When you really become a maestro, all you want to do is walking, because you understand then it's in the walking, then the magic, it's in between the steps.
That's
it,
beautiful.
it's magical.
Her name is Katia Rave. The book is entitled Dance, A Success is a Dance. I'm telling you, it's really good. You're listening to her. Isn't she great? I'm telling you, you're listening to her here on A New Direction. Hey, folks, whether you're recovering from an injury, surgery, suffering everyday aches and pains, maybe you're having difficulty performing daily activities, or maybe you're an athlete and you're just not performing at your level. Listen, the folks at Epic Physical Therapy, my physical therapist, they will not just treat your symptoms or injury. They are going to treat your body as an entire functional whole and design a program for you. So when you're ready for your epic relief, your epic recovery, and your epic results, you can go to epicpt.com. That's EPICPT.com. And Linda Craft and Team Realtors, for more than 35 years, they've helped people all over the world sell and buy their homes. And they do that because they are connected with the best professionals, because they're independently and operated and owned. And you know what? They don't belong to a national company, so they can find the best professional with any company. So when you're ready to start your home journey, whether it's home buying or home selling, start with Linda Craft and Team Realtors. That's lindacraft.com. That's LINDACRAFT.com. And also Hint Water. Listen, we're on TV on 150,000 people watch us a month on your Roku device or your Amazon Fire device. And Hint Water is the official water. It is the official beverage of DBTV. That's right, DBTV. Used to be DBNA TV. It is now DBTV. So stream us, check us out, and drink some Hint Water. And we're back here on A New Direction with my friend Katia Rave and her book, Success is a Dance, How the Rules of Tango Will Make Your Business Work. I want to stay here on fundamentals, Katia, because there was something that triggered my mind when I was thinking about it. And that is, every year in the early spring, the professional baseball players go down to either Arizona or they go to Florida, and they have spring training. And all that they do when they get down there is they do one thing: they work on the fundamentals. That's all they do.
Right.
They're not worried about trying to hit home runs, and they're working on, can I read pitches? Can I field ground balls? Can I make the throw the same way each time? Can the pitchers throw right? And I thought about that when I was reading this, that what happens is, for so many of us, that no matter how long we've been in business, we start to lose focus on the fundamentals. And you brought up something that was really interesting to me, and I'm going to quote you. It says, "The fundamentals are knowing exactly what we do and who we do it for." Wow, that's good fundamental,
It is.
right? That's our why, isn't it? I mean, that should be our fundamental. Should be the basic fundamental why, and not just, I'm doing this for money, but who, knowing exactly what we do and who we do it for.
Yeah. When we have that down, Jay, it's we good, and we lose it, right? Sometimes we lose it, and even in our company, right? Sometimes like, okay, let's go back to the fundamentals. And what does that look like in our business? It's like networking, connecting, one-on-one, speaking. Like there's some things where just, we can talk social media and emails and this, and at the end of the day, it's like, hey, if something hasn't worked for us, we're like, oh, why were our numbers? Because we're very much in a relationship with our numbers, right? And it's like, let's go back to the fundamental.
Yeah, I love that. Matter of fact, I want to just read some of the things that you talked. Some of the fundamentals need to be successful that you wrote about. One is, who is your ideal client? What pain point do you fix? These are questions that she asks in the book. And then she goes on to say, like, when it comes to pain point, what is their problem and what solution do you have to help solve it? These are just some of the things that she talks about in terms of fundamentals. And there's such great fundamental questions that you're asking for us to do. And I think it's great, though, but it should be the thing that we revisit, even if we've been in business 30 years.
Yeah. I love that you say that, because I'm hearing so many people are in sales mode right now. Sell. Mm-hmm. And they're selling services, they're selling product. And I'm like, nope, you're selling a solution. You're selling a breakthrough to someone.
Yeah.
You're not selling a product or a service. So when we keep our eyes like that, I actually reread that. I reread my own book. I have other books out, but I actually reread that one because I never want to lose where I was when I wrote it. Because, obviously, even as a writer, you grow and you write differently. And it's so good because it's so where I was. And that keeps me grounded. That's my fundamental.
That's so funny that you said that, because this just happened to me a couple nights ago. I was with a friend, and he said talked about my book, the last book that I wrote, and Lessons from the Farm Essentials for Success. And he said, your book is really an entire lesson plan for people. And I never thought about it, and I hadn't looked at it in a while. And so I went back, and we were sitting at the table, and I looked back, and I started looking at the chapters and what they were about, and I went, wow, the guy who wrote that's actually pretty good, because I haven't really looked at it in a long time. And you just said the thing that, I probably need to do is I need to take a second look at it, because I went back and I was like, oh my gosh, he's right. There's a business plan right here.
Yeah, the chapter of your book is, like your next workshop, or it's, those are the step, your pillars, what you teach, and, or like build your speech that way. Like, it's so valuable, to go back to when we lose ourselves.
Right. Oh, well, even if you're not, and you're just kind of like going, oh my gosh, this is another pivot for me.
Yeah.
Right. Because it could be another pivot for you. She's got some homework, by the way, and the fun tips at the end of each chapter. She's got homework for you. And so, I'm just gonna give a couple pieces of homework in this particular, the fundamentals. One is describe your ideal client in writing, and then write the pain point you offer as a solution. And so I'm going to challenge you folks. These are two that Katia has put down in her book that I really challenge you to really do as some homework, because it's going to give you more clarity into who your client is and the right client, and then really be clear on what it is, your why, and why you're doing it. So really great homework. Chapter 3, let's move there. Connect with your ideal client. Oh, the way you describe this, connecting with your ideal client. This is so deep, because you talk about the connection that you have in Tango. And it never, I took it for granted that there is, but there's something deeper about connection in tango. Explain the connection in tango and then how connecting with your ideal client works.
Connection is everything. Connection is why I dance.
Mm,
I connection first, and the music, of course. Uh, the connection is, it's magic.
mm,
When I'm on the floor with a perfect stranger, total stranger, most of the time we don't even speak the same language, we never met, but because we all have all of the same set of rules and understanding about the fundamentals and what it gets to be, suddenly you give total trust into a dancer. The connection is magic because it's trust, it's vulnerability, it's talking, it's having a conversation with someone I've never met without using my words.
mm,
I get to know so much about the personality, about the person. Does he want to be in a conversation, or does he want to dominate the space?
mm,
Is he interested into taking me to the park and me saying like, oops, I'm a girl, at the last minute I changed my mind, I kind of would like to go this way instead, or oh, I'm listening to this piece, there's always a beautiful piece of music, and maybe he's listening to the bandoneon, one of the instruments, and I'm very attracted into my heart with the violin, so suddenly I want to play. So the connection supports me into saying, hey, can we breathe together? Can we slow down?
mm,
And can you let me play for a little while?
mm.
And you see so much of this communication was unspoken. And that connection, usually the woman's eyes is closed. When there's this trust, for me, I dance with dancers, then I have seen on the floor, I trust them fully. My eyes are closed. I don't want to worry about things. And I know he's going to take care of me, the music, the rest of the floor, because we're in connection together, right? I'm in connection with the music. He's in connection with the music. Together as a couple, we're in connection with the rest of the floor. It's unbelievable. What would it look like for us to be so connected to our ideal client, to not be into ego, to be the amazing dancer? Then the moment the song is finished, I can't wait to dance with them again. What would that look like for us to bring that into entrepreneurship? Well, that's being that with our ideal client. And a lot of time we treat our ideal client like we're way above, and there's a lot of ego, and we look at them as credit cards. And we get to stop looking at people as credit card. We get to connect on a human level, heart to heart. And when you get to really do that, you understand then their problem is not really the problem. What they're telling you the problem is, it's actually not the problem. It's their relationship with the problem. It's always your relationship with it. It is not, your husband is not the problem. Your wife is not the problem. Your kids, your clients, your business. It's your relationship with that. So where do you get to go next to really dive into that, into your relationship with your ideal client? That way you can be like, hey, oh my gosh, I totally get you. I understand you. I can support you. I have the solution for you.
And this is where, you know, I hope people are hearing your passion about this, because I know you're so passionate about this. But you say this is where we got to go deep, and yet we need to be concise, right? So you got to go deep with this, because you say why? Because every business rises or falls on the strength of the entrepreneur running it, but functions only and solemnly because of the presence of the client.
That's right. We forget that.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, I think
The client is your boss.
Yeah, right. It's your number one. It is. It just is. And this is, and what you say right away, you give it its own title. You say first, serve.
Yeah.
Is that a hard word for entrepreneurs? Is to understand the word serve and being a servant to your client?
Yes and no. I think there is this pull and push and pull. What if I didn't say it right? You guys know what I meant. So, but it's I want to serve, but I don't want to serve too much. I want, you know what? Just serve.
Mm,
When you are in giving and generosity, and when you wonder, am I serving too much? If you ever wonder, am I serving too much? Like, the answer is always love. Love is always the answer. In business, in money, in finances, love is always the answer. And where do you get to go in your own leadership? Where do you get to go in your business to build that love, to build that trust, to it,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just hear it in your voice. Matter of fact, you say something here, and I quote you again. It says, "Let me emphasize here," and I repeat myself. It's about their needs, not yours.
Yeah. People don't care about me. They don't care about you.
That's right.
Like, I know you guys are watching us today, but you're really caring about what we're bringing you. You caring. You coming here and listening to this show all the time because he brings it up for you. He brings up solution. He brings up amazing people who gives you entertainment, who gives you fun, who gives you steps, who give you pillars, who give you growth. But at the end of the day, you don't really care so much about the person as an individual. You care about what he does for you, what he brings to you. What if you looked at your business that way? For me, I know people don't even remember my name. It's so complicated to say. I'm like, I don't even care to introduce myself by my own name. Why? Because that's irrelevant. What's relevant is I help entrepreneurs to make more money. I help entrepreneurs to grow in their leadership, to grow in their finances, to understand what it takes to get on stage. That people remember. They're like, oh, I remember her. Yeah, she's the one with my name.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it. And matter of fact, one of the pieces of your fun tips that you say in this chapter is, and we don't do this because I know we don't, because I find myself guilty of not doing this. And matter of fact, I did it with just a new client that I brought on. Interview your ideal client. I just thought that it's so simple, but it's just so, it's really, really, I want to tell you, I did it with a recent client, and I interviewed them. I mean, literally interviewed other parts of them beyond the stuff that we do about how I'm going to help you or solve a problem for you. That beyond that, I really did a full length interview of where they came from, where they prefer to live, and it's you start to realize, oh my gosh, there's so much more you need to know about your client to help your client
Yep.
when you do the interview. And so I really tell people, regardless of what you, I love that tip. Interview your ideal client. That's very cool. All right, so the chapter 4.
Yes.
Okay, it's called "Believing is Everything," right?
Yes.
And okay, so the tango piece for me, because you start out, you talk about that, you paint us this picture of the
This-
man on the
yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
He's gorgeously dressed and he's handsomely dressed, right? Then take it from there. So go ahead.
Yes. And in full, he's my husband. Now he's my husband now. There is He's dressed with the suit. He has chosen his handkerchief. He's smells good, not too much, just the right amount. And there was so much thoughts who went into him getting dressed.
Mhm.
Meaning, yes, he's got a suit, And he also is very conscientious of not having too much perfume,
Mm.
right? Because we are very close in the embrace, so it could give women's headache. He's also very yeah. So, but this is it. You think he thought of everything,
Mm.
and he believes that when he shows up that way, if I have the choice, okay, we're gonna put it in a totally different way. If I have the choice between great dancers, two same level dancers, one of them shows up in a suit, dressed up, looking good, smelling good, has nothing to do with their physical appearance. One of my best dance was with a almost 300-pound dancer. So it has nothing to do, like, I really want to be very clear on that. It has nothing to do with, do they look handsome or not. It has everything to do with how much thought they put into their dressing.
Mm.
And then there's the other dancer who just shows up into, jean, a t-shirt, smelling like sweat. And we get to dance very close, Jay. So we get, if I have two same level dancers and I have choices, which one will I choose?
Sure.
Of course I'm going to choose the one that I have ironed my clothes. I smell very good.
Right.
Right? So having someone who's with sometimes like just a t-shirt, like rubs the silk and make it then all folded or wrinkle, or someone who's gonna put their smell on me.
Right.
Yeah, believing is everything. Like you get to show up at your best. You get to show that guy when he was dressed, he was like, I'm gonna believe. And he was a good dancer. He wasn't the best dancer, but man, when he showed up, he believed in it. And
Mm.
you know what? That he brought some energy. He brought some momentum.
Right.
They're exactly like in business.
You know what? I'm gonna we okay. This is the teaser because she's going to tell you how believe. Talking about belief because this is going to be cool. We're talking with Katia Rave. The book is called "Success is a Dance." You're listening to her here on A New Direction. Hey, folks, listen. Epic Physical Therapy. My physical therapist. You talk about them all the time. Listen, they offer the most top advanced, top of the line equipment. You hear me talk about the anti-gravity treadmill, the Normatec compression sleeves, the Game Ready, my favorite. They are certified the most cutting edge treatments, blood flow restriction therapy, dry needling, cupping. That's just a few. Listen, when you're ready for your epic relief, your epic recovery, epic results, go no further. Stop at epicpt.com. That's EPICPT.com. And Linda Craft and Team Realtors, listen, her clients to this day call her the legends of customer service. Literally, her first client from 1985 still comes sees her today. I know. I've seen some of her first clients, and they come and see her. It's amazing. There's something to be said when your first clients and your current clients come back and ask for more. So listen, when you're ready to buy a home or sell a home, start with Linda Craft and Team Realtors. She's been doing it for a long time, and she's a legend. You can learn more by going to lindacraft.com. That's LINDACRAFT.com. And we're back here on A New Direction with Katia Rave and her book, Success is a Dance. And we are talking about believing is everything. And she just described her tango belief. And you come out and you say, because he believes in himself, right? And the very first thing you come out with is believe in what you sell, exclamation point. Start
That's right.
there.
That's right. You get to believe in what you sell. Like it's it's in your guts.
Mm.
It's not just, oh, I come up with something. It's like, hey, I'm here.
Mm.
I'm here and look at me. You are in sales. Entrepreneurs forget they're in sales. For entrepreneurs think they're, either they're coaches or they're, a massage therapist. But if you're an entrepreneur, you're a salesperson,
Mm.
and you forget that. You
Mm.
forget that part. So show up your best. come and be dressed up, like be your own style, like bring us some of who you are. Don't show up not you, we have choices.
Right.
There's so many choices. There's so much competition.
Right.
Many beautiful dancers on the dance floor.
Right.
How will you look different?
Mm.
How will you, what's your point of view? And not to look at your competition. I ignore. I believe there's enough of us and enough client to go
Yeah.
everywhere around.
Well, and we don't. You and I are both coaches, right?
Yes, yes.
We're both coaches, and my ideal client, which we just talked about a chapter or so ago,
Right.
my ideal client doesn't look like your ideal client,
Probably not.
right? It probably does not look like my, and also my ideal client, is also going to be somebody that works well with my style, because I do have a style and it's not your style.
That's right. And this is the perfect example though, Jay.
Mhm.
Look, how many other coaches don't have other coaches on their podcast because they're like, oh no, like, it says a lot. It says a lot about the how comfortable you are with yourself. It says a lot about how comfortable I am with myself. It says a lot about how we show up at the milonga, right? I know exactly what kind of dancers I am.
Right.
I am not for every dancer. I am a very classical dancer.
Right.
I dance like it's dance in Buenos Aires. Very close embrace. You have some people who are more contemporary and they love, different music. I love the old fashioned, the older the music.
Right.
I'm very old. I go to milongas and to festivals who are called encuentros. And the encuentros are very tight music from a certain dates in it's a whole thing. It's the same thing in sales, and you don't get a second chance to make a good first impression.
Yeah, here's, I think this is a good example, because I'm gonna because I'm dressed in cowboy boots, a belt buckle, a nice shirt, and a hat, and I am going to whip you around because I know West Coast swing, right? I mean,
There
that's
you go.
right. I went right, but that's not who you. That's not who. That's not what you want, and that's not who the person is attracted to what you're doing, because it's a different,
That's right.
right?
That's
I mean,
right.
right? It doesn't make either one of us bad or good or anything. It's just that we're different,
Yes.
and we authentically know who we are, and
That's it.
right,
Authentically. Now continue. I love that you said that, because the way you dress is exactly who you are. For
right. I mean,
you,
yeah, right.
yeah.
Well,
Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
no. I want you to.
Yeah.
I
I'm
want,
having so much fun. This is such a great conversation.
I want you to interrupt me. You're the guest. I'm trying to serve you. That's what I'm trying to do, and you're trying to serve me. And so we've got two servants trying to serve each other, and we're like, oh, I don't want to step on your toes, but you're not. You're just supposed to be talking. So no. It is about believing in what you sell, and it's believing in you, who you are. And if you don't have the authenticity piece, how can you believe in what you sell if you don't even believe in who you are?
That's right. That's right.
Right. And then you talk about smiling. What a simple, practical tip. You said, don't forget, before someone will dance with you or buy something from you, they need to like you. A smile is the best way to accomplish that.
It's so simple, and just look. So I actually would love to give the audience, when you drive, what kind of driver are you? Do you smile when you drive?
Mm.
And most of us don't. And one of the exercises, especially the past year, I was like, when I get in my car, I'm gonna smile. And I smile to people who are, where I'm at light, or I smile literally all the time now in my car. And you bring something, you inviting by smiling, you inviting. So at the grocery store in line, smile, and you're going to see, you're going to invite people, you're going to evoke people wanting to talk with you. It's so simple, and yet it's so fundamental.
Right. And we've just come out of a pandemic, right? And I was at the grocery store before the show, and I noticed how many people don't smile. Because I read, I read your book and that one area, and I try to smile regularly and all the time. I want to be a light to the world. I want people to know that not everybody is down, or that I have a choice in my life and my attitude is my choice. And I think a smile brings it. And so you and I are in such agreement with this. And I noticed as I walked in the store just how many people just don't smile. And it was actually sad, because I actually paid attention. Right. And I don't want to be a contributor to the group of non-smilers.
Correct.
That, I mean, that's why I think it's so simple, but if people will think about this, right? I mean, by the way, the smile is universal from country to country.
No need to know a new language.
Right? Right? I mean, it is the universal language of happiness and joy is a smile.
Yeah. And you know what I see a lot, it's when people don't smile, it's they're burdened, right? Or they're in their head, or they're, and it's a tendency to be a victim to our circumstances. Nobody is a victim. We are in such a control of our lives, and we get to create the life that we want, and no matter what happened. And yes, there are circumstances who are really crappy, like things that happen to us, and we also have a choice of how we look at them.
You have another title here, and it says "Never Settle." And I'm going to read what you said, because again, you and I are like just so we're so connected on this. Quality is much better than quantity. One thing that separates dancers and winners from the worms that warm a seat all night is a mindset of gratitude.
Boom. Mic drop. I mean, really. Okay, so at Milanga, I could go there for being there for 3 hours, and I don't go for quantity. I know what I want. When I go into Milanga, I know that I want a dance is going to make my heart beat, a dance is going to linger for the rest of the night. I want that dance where I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to dance with that person again. I will remember their face. We don't exchange name. We don't talk much. So usually we're basically strangers, but I rather be on my chair, sitting and being happy and talking and just enjoying, also watching. Like, there's so much you can do by watching. What does that look like if you watch someone and you smile? Then they're like, oh my gosh, I really like her. I don't know her, but her smile is contagious. That's what I'm told every time. My smile is contagious. They pass in front of me and they see me smiling. They want to be a part of that. So therefore, we end up dancing together. And if I dance once and it's fabulous, I'm just happy. And I'm so grateful, right? Because as a woman, I don't get the opportunity to invite the men, right? And I'm so grateful. And when you live in gratitude in your business, it's the same thing. Like, yes, you get to want more, you get to have a vision. Don't forget to be grateful.
That's beautiful. Do you know we've been on almost an hour?
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
You've been fabulous.
Thank you.
I have enjoyed this. The book again is called Success is a Dance.
Thank you.
How the rules of tango will make your business work. Katia, tell people how they can get a hold of you. I know you just released another book too, right?
Yes, I did, and I'm releasing. I just released Successful and Happy. How your business get to be successful with you being in full joy, even when you go to that next level. And we're releasing a third one in 2 weeks, which is Winning is Never Accidental. So they can find me on social media at Katia Rave, R-A-V as in Victor, E, Rave, KatiaRave.com. And we have all sorts of, like we give free chapter, like one free chapter of the book, and, just connect with me on social media.
Yeah, she is all over social media. I could promise you that because we were friends long before we were actually. I realized that
Yeah.
she wrote a book, and of course, we've been together. She's great. Listen, look her up, look her stuff up. Get the book, folks. It's not a long read, but boy, it is just pack filled. I will be doing my 5-star Amazon review on this book, so make sure that you check that out as well, folks. This is a show. You know what I say to you every week: you are in control of 3 things at all times: your attitude, your effort, and your resilience. You know what? The truth of the matter is, no matter what the circumstances are, it's your attitude that matters. It's the amount of effort that you choose to give. How excellent are you going to be today? You choose that. And then finally, get back up. You're the one who determines if you're going to get back up if you've been knocked down. Only you, and you can do that. I'm going to be back next week with another great guest. It's going to be another great show. And I promise you, it's going to be another great book. And as I say to you everywhere, all over the world, first of all, thank you. Ciao, everybody.
Thank you.